Now the last stage of this solve is essentially to solve this cube as a 3x3 axis cube. So I've got to now forget that I have these 5 layers and just treat it as an axis cube. To begin with, what I want to do is make sure that my centers are correctly oriented. And we'll find, for example, if I look here, I've got an orange yellow, I've got a green yellow, and I've got an orange green. Those 3 centers sort of share the same colors. If I look at the other centers, a blue white, a red white, and a blue red. So I need to get each set of 3 correctly oriented. So what I would do is just start with this one and say, maybe that's in the correct orientation, I don't know. I'll turn it around and say, well, if it was, I'll put the other red piece so that that red is in the same plane as this red. So they are correct, but I now look at this one and say, well, there's a blue one over here, and there's no way that that blue is matching because it's just wrong. So I'd say, oh, okay, well, what happens if I then say turn that blue like that? Those blue parts are now in the correct plane. Can I make the other one work? If I grab this one and turn this around like that, what we'll see, and hopefully that's a good angle, the reds are now in the same plane, the white pieces are in the same plane, and the blue pieces are in the same plane. So that's those 3 correctly oriented. I'm going to do the same thing for these 3 up here. So I've got, looks like it might be the orange of this one, and I don't know where to turn that to, maybe there. This one here, possibly to there. That's a green. Now is that going to work? I think it might. And again, if I look at it, I can see now the green parts are in the same plane, the oranges are and the yellows are. So all the centers of this thing are now correctly oriented, and you can really see, oh, that's looking very cubish, which is good. That's what we want. So once you've got the centers oriented, and I should stress, it's not essential to have all of them oriented straight away. I just find it easy to work with. What I want to do now is pick a center, it doesn't matter which one. So let's say that I do the red white, and I'm going to do that because I already have an edge between this and this center. So that edge is in place. It's as though this is my white and I'm going to try and get the white cross now. And you can actually see there's another edge that's already in place there, so that's even better. So I've got to get these 2 edges. So I'll look at this one. So that's some edge that has green and red connecting it. Let's find it. There it is on the bottom. So I can happily turn this bottom face around at the moment. And it's got to go into this position, and I'm not sure if this is oriented correctly. So what I would do is just test it, turn it up like that and say, oh, no, that's clearly wrong. So that means instead of bringing it up like that, I've just got to turn this across and bring it up in that direction so that it orients correctly. So I'm going to this to here, and this one up into its correct position. And I stress, this is really the same as solving an axis cube, and when that comes down to it, it's kind of the same as solving a 3x3, I guess a super cube. So that one's in, and the last one here is my white. So I'll just go and locate that white edge. Okay, it's over here. Let's initially turn that underneath where it needs to go. Once again, I'll just turn it up into place and see if it is correctly oriented. This time you can see it is correctly oriented. Okay, so that just tells me, right, to get that in there, I'll just use this as a 3rd piece and cycle those around. And you'll notice here there is no thought of trying to retain any kind of 5 layers. It's all just, that's done. It's now just everything's 3 layers. All right, looking at that, I've just chosen that to be my top center. I have the first 4 edges. I will then say, right, that's going to be on the bottom. Here's my middle layer. I'm going to now try and get 3 edges in the middle. Same sort of deal. Well, here's a blue one. I notice there's a blue edge up here. Needs to go into that position. I could turn it down and say, does that look right? No, it doesn't. So if I wanted to, I could actually do another turn, and now I'll do a down, down, up to place that one in. I've got a red yellow. There's a red yellow on the top, so I'll bring that around. Once again, just flick it down. No, that doesn't look right. So this time I could turn its position up to the top layer, turn it onto its position, and return. That's 2 middle layer edges. I've got a green here. There's my green edge. I think that's just going to do a down, down, up, up, like so. So that's 3 middle layer edges. There's my fourth. And as per usual, I'm going to use that fourth one to help me get 2 of these back edges. In this case, that one and that one. Now this is the point at where you might say, oh good, that one's already in. But you can see, hang on a minute, because I've been turning this upper face, that's misoriented. So what I want to do first is just fix up the orientation of this center by turning it until it's at the point where it lines up in the same plane. Let's have a look. That's fine. I think it's got to go. That's the yellow there. Yellow, green, orange, green, that's fine. Come on, I'm not that dumb. Ah, is that better? That's better. Okay, now that is in the same plane, the 2 yellows and the 2 oranges are as well. So I know that's correctly oriented. I've got to use this edge to help me get, let's say initially, so it's these 2 at the back. I can see that the yellow edge belongs there. So just as a setup, in fact, do I even need to do the setup? I don't think I do, because that's just going to turn correctly into that position. So that's where things are. I'll use this piece and push this yellow across to where it belongs. Always the last turn. There we go. Now what you'll see this time is that not only is that yellow edge in, but it's correctly oriented with the center pieces. So that's good. This is the other one. It's a yellow-blue edge, and there's my yellow-blue edge. Now again, what I would initially do is just turn it around and see, is that correctly oriented? Yes, it is. So that means I will just, again, push this out the way, bring its position around, and then put it back on. Now turn it onto its position, undo. This is honestly nothing more than just solving the same sort of 3x3 cube, doing these 2 back edges. It's just trickier because not everything's obvious. So I now have those 2 back edges done. That just leaves me with 1, 2, 3 edges to do here. And this will be the same sort of scenarios that you would get on a cube. So in this one here, what have I got? That's got to go, that turns correctly into its position. That turns incorrectly, and that one turns correctly. So I have these 2 that are turning correctly, that's not. So I now know that I've got to turn one correct one onto the other one to carry out this 3 cycle. I'll just do it down, down, up, up, and they have placed. You can see this is now very much looking more like a cube shape. In fact, the only thing that we've got left is to solve these corners. And to solve the corners, what I would do is just use the corner piece series. It's simple, it's quick, and in order to sort of go, which direction do I have to go, I can see that, for example, this orange one is next to where it belongs. Now, if I turn it like that, you can very clearly see it's not going to orient correctly. However, if I turn it the face like that, it will absolutely orient correctly. So I go, well, okay, so it's got to turn down this line here. Let me just show you on a solved 3x3 cube for clarity what the corner piece series actually is. All right, well, just demonstrating the corner piece series on this puzzle. There are links in the description and everywhere on my channel, but For this particular puzzle, I wanted to go through it quickly. Essentially what I'm going to do is an upper turn and then a right turn, so move the right face away from me, and then an up prime, move the left face away from me. An upper turn, bring the right face towards me, up prime, left face towards me. Now you'll notice when we do that, nothing has been touched except these three corners on the upper face. And in terms of the movement of those corners, the first one that's pretty obvious is this white, green, red came from the back. So that is simply rolled from there to here, like so. The next one, this red, green, yellow, was over here in that position. So that one has rolled across from here. So what we have is a corner rolls from here across to there along the back, and we have this corner rolling along the side, and then the third corner goes across the diagonal. So that's if I wanted the piece movement to be in that direction, like this, as in an anti-clockwise piece movement, I had to turn the upper face clockwise first. However, if I wanted the piece movement, instead of being like this, to be like this, so it rolled across the back there and then rolled down the right, I would turn the upper face anti-clockwise first. You can see that being completed. That's exactly what's happened. The white, green, red has rolled across to there. The red, green, yellow, which was here, has rolled down to there. And this yellow, green, orange has gone across the diagonal to the back position. Okay, so we just look and see what the piece movement is. Here I'm doing this clockwise piece movement. So the first turn of my upper face will be anti-clockwise. There we go. And that corner is now in. So I'll just search for some other corner that I can do similar thing with. What about this one? Unfortunately, this one is directly opposite. So I would have to do 3 up, up, down, downs to place that one correctly. And unless there's something similar over here, I'm not going to bother. I'll abandon that one. What about this yellow? That's also wrong. What I could do here, actually, I could bring, there's nothing obvious, so I'm just going to say, well, the other thing that I could do is bring this green up to there and see if that can just now turn into its position. It can, and it will. So just with that setup, I've now got this going down to here. Now, is that yellow piece, that's also a piece that has not been done yet. So I'll now do this piece movement in this direction. So because the direction is like that, the first turn of the upper face is clockwise. Okay, that's all done. The green is in, and you remember that we had the setup move there, so that's cool. Wow, that's looking much better. Let's continue. What about this? The yellow's in position, and this one's in position but twisted. So I've kind of got a 3 cycle left. Let's have a look at getting the red, if I can, into its position. So that will, as a setup, that will now that turns wrongly like that. How about like that? That looks good. That's now flat. That's what I want. So as another setup, I've already got that. That's easy enough to remember. I'm just going to bring this piece down to here so that I have 3 pieces to use. That's now in position. I'm going to cycle these 3 around to place the red. All right, that's done. You can see it's in. Let's undo that little setup and we'll undo this one. What have we got remaining? The white to the blue to this one, and that's in position. Perhaps we will, what I might do is just bring this white position here and see if that, does that make it easy to get that white? No, it doesn't. What about, just looking for a setup here which helps. That's all. No, I don't think that's ever going to work unless I do this. No, that's still not going to work. So I'll abandon the white. That's not going to help. What about the blue? Might actually have the same issue with the blue, to be honest. Because if I turn it down like that. No, so look, let's, instead of trying to do that, let's just place these last three pieces. As I said, the yellow is in position but twisted. Let's just go these three, just put them into position somehow, and then we'll see what's what. So to do that, I would probably do something like turn the blue up to there so the white can come across here to the blue. And then I want another piece here. So I'll now turn this around. So that's my third piece, which will come across to there. So I'll cycle these three pieces around just to get them into position. All right, let's undo setups. 1, 2, and then that one's obvious. Now, did I achieve anything? I think I might have, because I think it might have been that one that has landed correctly into position. Now, I stress that you don't have to end up with pieces just needing to be twisted, corners to be twisted. You could just go for the final 3 cycle, and that's totally fine. For this one, I've got 1, 2, 3 that need to all be twisted in the same direction. This needs to go clockwise. If I look at this one, the blue one, that clearly needs to go clockwise, and the white one also needs to go clockwise. So just the same as what we did previously, I might put them on the same face. At the moment, they're not all on the same face, but if I turn this one up like that, I can see now they are all on this center piece here. So they all turn when I turn that face. So they're all on the same face. I'll start with the yellow, move to the blue, finish with the white, and I'm going clockwise. So it's an up, I'm not doing that, up. I'm going to start again actually, just because I don't want to, I get excited with the last little bits coming up and I don't want to muck anything up here. So that's now in position. Let's go again with this up, up, come on. That's better. It's just so smooth. That's the problem. Down, down. Let's go again. Up. It's actually turning slightly at the back. You can't see it, but that's what's causing things to not align where I want them. Okay, that one's done. I said I would then turn the blue one into position and do that one as well. That's done, and the final one to turn into position was the white one. Down, down, and then of course I'll complete those two so that it's very clear to see, that's what I need to do for that last setup. And you can see that everything is back to cubic shape and completely solved. That's what we want. So this is the duo axis. That's how I go about solving it. Effectively reducing all the edges and then solving as a reduced 3x3 axis cube. That is solved, and thanks for watching.